there's something that I think in modern society there has been a dashing of, in terms of knowledge, a sort of erasure of. And it occurs in something extremely important, that being the role of the child, both economically and familially. In terms of economy, you can notice its erasure through how businesses interact with how they market. You can see, McDonald's no longer has play places. You can see the removal of certain things on play sets, and it almost seems like children don't have places they can go to besides maybe daycares. So in terms of economy, they don't produce anything of their own besides themselves, and besides businesses that can utilize them, like daycares, again, where they can get money from people who have the money, and something that the children do not possess. So the children technically possess nothing, but also they're not useful to any company or anyone but the family, who also only gets them as a burden. And that compounds the familial. It compounds on the familial because of the fact that they technically don't have a use in a modern society. They can't generate money or wealth. Now, you do get certain benefits or tax cuts. I'm not quite sure on the legal, but I'm aware that people do get money for having children, and that matters on the amount. But related to that, the roles that people uptake in society, they're almost like Jungian archetypes, where they manifest themselves. And because it seems that society has chosen to forget the role of the child, people are no longer having them, because they see them as burdens. They see them as unwilling for the parents see them as, or rather parents, the people see them as unwilling, see themselves as unwilling to bring them into a world that they don't see fit, because they don't have the strength to change the world as it is, which I think is rather horrible and sad, but it's also a little bit selfish. And I think related to all that is the fact that because the children don't have a modern equivalent of an economic value, they are often thrown into learning the complements of society, things like mathematics, things like calculus, things like instruments. They learn all of these things from society's establishments. They're the flowers of society, but they are not the flower bed, nor are they the bricks that encompass it. They don't learn those things, and they don't learn how to maintain those things. So because they are too forthright and forced into all of these other things, they don't have time to focus on the things that they would learn from, say, the father or the mother. They don't learn how to clean properly. They don't learn how to maintain things properly. They don't learn all these other little things that are extremely important. Cooking, survival skills. They don't learn any of it. And they should. They very much should. Because they should be able to go out and work and do things that their parents also do, so that way they become like their parents in all the ways that society can produce. And it is up to society to self-liberate itself, to allow good to flourish and bad to be punished. Bad in the ways that society will get rid of things that are not useful towards it. So, because of the effect that people are not having children are not useful. Things get forgotten. So realistically, I think what this spells for the Western world, especially since now that whites are 8% of the global population, me being a young white man myself, I should care about this. I think it is up to us to realize that we have basically doomed our children for the very moment of not giving them uses, or not allowing them to be useful in commonplace. And I think we should establish ways for our society to be able to include them again in more noticeable ways, rather than just for a simple family. Because realistically, children were had and begotten to have as free labor. They were basically slaves. That's why you had midwives. And why you would have harems in earlier societies, essentially. I think we need to bring back into our society utility in children, so that way they can bring utility of themselves, and make it so that way they get use out of their own abilities, and they learn how to use all of the things that they are given by nature, their wits, their eyes, their senses of touch and hearing. I think that would be wonderful for all of them. And yeah, that's all.